Pubcast. I'm in Pubcast.
Whatever
We are live from O'Gara's. I'm Molly Burke. I'm here with my co-host Jason McGovern.
Hi.
We are we're at the wonderful O'Gara's in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we are kicking off. I feel like we're kicking off one of the biggest weekends in St. Paul of the year.
Well, it's it kicks off the old winter into St. Patty's Day month and a half, really, of craziness in St. Paul with tournaments and dabblers and carnivals and weird downhill ice skating.
It's what gets us through the winter in Minnesota.
Well, it is. We need to distract ourselves from the fact that we hate life, and we do it by setting up weird ice castles outside and going and playing in them. It's weird.
And we just heard that someone already found the medallion, so for any of you Winter Carnival people out there, stop searching and just keep drinking.
Yeah, for those of you out there with your metal detector and your earbuds in, just turn around, go home.
Go home. It's over. It's over.
Or come here and get a beer.
The medallion has been found. And for those of you who aren't from Minnesota, the Winter Carnival, which kicks off essentially this week, next week, something
I believe
like
it's this
that.
weekend it kicks off. Yeah, the parade is Saturday. So.
Is it? Okay. Winter Carnival is awesome, and there's, like Jason said, ice sculptures, and now Red Bull Crash Dice, and the Sakarian Winter Run, and the Medallion Hunt, it's already over, which is kind of lame, but it's like $10,000
too. God, there's a lot going on, and it's all gonna just equal money in my pocket since I work in downtown St. Paul, so that's good. Yeah, I like it, and I don't have to deal with it because when I get off at 7:00, I think we've talked about this off air, but I have no interest in Crash Dice. I am not going to go anywhere near the viewing party, near the thing. I've been down there for every year and working, so I think it's partially like I just get bombarded by all these drunks that come from it, so I have this negative connotation. I've watched it on TV. I've seen it.
You got to be in. You got to be there.
Well, every single person I've talked to that went said if you're not on the edge of it, you can't see anything anyway. So one. I haven't heard a lot. You're the only person that said you have to be up there because everybody else has said it's fun. You go up there, there's a bunch of people, but you can't even actually really see anything.
Well, I think that's true. I mean, I don't know if it's improved or not. If they've built more bleachers or whatever, but you do kind of have to be up against the plexiglass or within a few rows of plexiglass because that's where those guys are. That's where they're landing. It's like being on the plexiglass for the Wild, except much faster.
Well, and it goes past you. To me, I think it's more of being on a hill for a downhill skiing event. I mean, it would be really cool for the part in front of you for the 4 seconds that you see them whizzing by.
Right.
But then after that, it would be you're watching on a screen anyway. Which, by the way, which is kind of cool about what they're doing this year is they're blocking off West 7th now. All the way down to Walnut, so that's all the way down to past Tom Reed's, and I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to put a huge screen so that people can actually just go down there and watch the whole thing on TV with the live feed.
Yeah, that's nice.
That'll be it's just going to be a huge party atmosphere down there. Mo from Burger Mo's yesterday was saying it's going to be bigger than St. Patty's Day. I said I don't know about that shit, but we'll see.
We will see.
I'm excited.
I don't know. It should be fun.
Speaking of Winter Carnival, though, what is your take on the Vulcans? And I say that quietly because we're in a real, this is a St. Paul bar. I could get in trouble if I say anything negative about a Vulcan, but what do you think about the Vulcans?
I've always loved the Vulcans.
Really?
I'm a Vulcan fan. I have good memories as a kid of the Vulcans coming to, I'm done. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. It was really good. Thanks. I had a really massive salad that I managed to finish before we went on air, which normally I'm
well done. That was scarfed in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm proud of you. That's all. That was just pride.
Thanks. No, I love the Vulcans. They used to come to parties when I don't know that my family friends would host, and they would come and draw the things under your eyes or whatever it is. What do they do?
They usually draw the V on your cheek.
Oh, they draw the V on your cheek.
And that used to be they would kiss your cheek and press their cheek against it, and that's how you got the V.
Yeah, I was kind of.
I think they've stopped a little bit of the physical
I'm
touching
into
stuff.
That though.
Yeah, well, you heard why they don't do it anymore?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay, well, I don't remember.
I mean, maybe, but...
Well, years and years... Now it's years and years, but when I was even still doing... When I was doing radio, so it's in the KSTP days, so it's post-2003, they got caught. What they would do is when they go around to the bars and stuff, and they do the little, Hail the Vulcan, they have all their fun. Mm-hmm. They would go around the servers, the cute servers at whatever establishment, and they'd all put their capes up, and they would, for a lack of a better term, molest her. And it was all in fun at one point. Like, I think they used to, like, grab her butt or, like, you know, like, it was something you shouldn't do, but it wasn't like, oh, my God. Well, whatever year that was, I mean, they were literally, like, groping the chicks' crotches or multiple chicks' crotches and, like, doing something you shouldn't be doing. And they've been really toned down now, apparently, in their stuff. But
well, I hope. I mean, they were always just rowdy. I don't remember them. I mean, I was a little kid, so they're always, you know, like, when they come up to me, hi, can I draw it? You know, and they do the V really quick. But I never thought that they were, like, inappropriate like that. But I guess when you start getting people drinking and
right, and I'm not trying to say the majority of them ever were like that. I would assume they weren't. It's like everything. But I was creeped out by him as a kid a little. I remember, like, my aunt would always bring us to the Winter Carnival, and my parents did too, I think. But I remember specifically with my aunt, and I think she was a fan of the Vulcans, like, and so I was taught that they're cool at first, and I just kind of got creeped out by them. And then I heard that stuff that they were apparently accused of doing, and I went, wow, maybe these guys aren't so good. And then you work down on West 7th where they like to frequent, and you become really annoyed by them. Like, they are fucking annoying as hell. They're so loud and obnoxious.
I don't even see
them
anymore. I don't remember the last time I saw the Vulcans.
You don't have to deal with them because you're not down on West 7th often. I mean, the Vulcans, the Winter Carnival people, the Royal Guard or whatever.
1 week a year though.
Yeah, and they're still that bad. That's how annoying they are.
I don't know.
No, to me, it's just. I think the whole Winter Carnival thing is interesting because you have a bunch of adults dressing up and playing fire versus ice, and it's just and these guys, like, they're walking around proud to be part of that Royal Guard and proud to be a Vulcan, and it's just like, you're fictional. Like, you're not even a thing. Like, what are you? I don't get what you're proud of.
Not even a real superhero.
That's kind of what they think. They got their swords and their little props, and I know I'm a St. Paul boy, and I'm not supposed to say these things, but I'm just
is
not
that
a fan.
A Minnesota thing only?
The what? The Vulcans? Yeah, that's a St. Paul thing.
I don't know. I grew up in St. Paul, and that's why I was like, they were just part of.
Yeah, they're just accepted by St. Paulites. But
we accept you Vulcans, except when you do real creepy shit and back off.
Yeah, that part I got a problem with.
Yeah, that's not good. That ruins the fun of it. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be rowdy, and they're supposed to make you a little uncomfortable, right? They're supposed to kind of come up and, like, draw the thing in your face without you really wanting them to. Like, no one wants a big black mark on their face, right? And they kind of freak you out. That's why Santa freaked me out, though. Like, any adult in a costume is, like,
that's true.
Scare me. It's just very strange, right?
Well, and their whole thing is they're portrayed to kind of be the enemy, right?
Right.
Like, they're supposed to be the kind of bad guys, going against the good guys who are the cold and the ice or whatever. But
they're like the devils, devils of the Winter Carnival, which is kind of cool.
So,
speaking of devil.
Wow, was this a segue that into the life-death thing or what?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was going to stick on St. Paul a little bit longer.
We
My
could
God.
stay on St. Paul. I just thought it was a funny
I love
segue.
a segue. No, anytime you can mix in a weird segue is always good. But no, we still got the Beer Dabblers also this weekend. There's so much going on in St. Paul.
Yeah.
And by the way, could the Beer Dabbler maybe not do it on Crashed Ice so I could go? Because I have to work Crashed Ice, so too much money to not work it. But God, I want to go to the Beer Dabbler. The Beer Dabbler is so fun. You have been to the winter one or not?
I've been to the winter one twice.
Where? Which ones did you go to?
I went to the one at the Farmers Market in St. Paul.
Yep.
And then I went to the one last year at the State Fairgrounds.
State Fair, okay.
Yeah.
Because I went to the one at the Farmers Market as well, which was my favorite. I thought
that
one was so fun.
We had so much fun.
I liked that it was compact a bit. Like, you did have to kind of force everybody into a smaller spot, and that made it a little more of a party atmosphere. And then you're right in the middle of downtown St. Paul, so you just walk and go. We
went to, like, Allery's after something because we, it starts to get cold after 4 hours of drinking.
We went to the candy store down there, if you know where that is, and like, I don't remember it, but like, there's a picture of my buddy sitting on one of the ice, like, thrones, and you're probably not even supposed to be on that, but he was up there, and and this is the other thing too. I don't understand how I get so fucked up at a Beer Dabbler, but I walk out of those and I'm blackout.
Because what do you mean you don't understand? You have unlimited beer drinking capabilities.
But it's beer. Like, I don't usually get blackout off of beer to begin with.
It's craft beer that's probably stronger than your, like, Miller Lite. You know what I mean?
I don't drink Miller Lite, though. I'm drinking what? I'm drinking a 7% beer right now.
Yeah, but
that's
how many of those do you drink at once normally?
2 or 3 or 4 maybe.
There you go. So when you add up those little baby glasses that aren't, they're bigger than shooters. They're like 3 times the size of shooters.
They're good. They're 4 ounces.
Yeah, but think about that. If you were to do, like, Power Hour or whatever, and you have to do a shot of beer for an hour, so I don't know what that would equal. I mean, that's essentially what you're doing. is like a really intense power hour for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's nonstop. You're in line for more beer.
But here's what I think they should do that would help with it at least. I mean, I think I'm the only one complaining, but if they need to have buckets. You know, like, have you ever been to a wine tasting?
No, that's pussy.
No. There's when you go to any tasting with that many things there, a lot of them suck. Now, it's like movies. Most beer sucks. Most movies suck.
You spit it out in the snow, Jason. We're outside.
No, but that's the thing is I don't like because basically even at the fairgrounds, you're just throwing it all over where everyone's walking. There's not.
Yeah, but I'd rather.
It's gross. Like you just make it a mess. It just becomes a sloshy. Like they just need a couple of buckets everywhere where you can just dump them out like you would at a wine tasting.
No.
I don't. What's radical about that idea? Why don't you like that one?
Stupid idea. Just spit it in the snow outside where.
Well, no. What I do is I just drink it because I don't want to throw it, and then I get even more drunk.
Most people just drink it, or you take a sip and you swallow it. Like a man, and then you dump the rest of it out.
I hear a drop there. Swallow it like a man. All right. Like I said, I think I'm the only one really complaining about that. But or give me a smaller sample, even maybe. I don't know. And again, these are real first world problems here.
Smaller sample, Jesus.
This
is embarrassing.
Okay, this is probably my fault too because I figure I'm going to only taste the first 5 beers that I try.
Sure.
After that, your palate's fucked. So I don't want to just go try like a lager or a nice pilsner. I go try like an imperial stout or something, or a double IPA or something that's 10-11%.
You want to try,
right? Well, that's just something that's different, and that if I tried it 17 in, I wouldn't know what it tasted like, so I'd be a waste, and it'd be so strong that it would just fuck me up. So the point is that I want to get those out of the way first, and then like I said, I'm blackout an hour and a half in, and it's not the way to do it, folks. What I'm trying to tell you is this is not how to do a beer dabbler. But go. And
it's fun.
There's a bunch of cool ways too. I mean, don't go and drink and drive and get out of there. There's a bunch of ways to get out of there. I don't really have.
Well, you could take the shuttle back to O'Gara's. That's one way.
Brilliant. And
that's what we did last year.
Aren't there buses too, or there's at least like one bus that's going in and out of there?
Well, I know Metro Transit probably has free rides all weekend.
If you bring a designated driver, they only have to pay $10.
Yeah, and then Uber probably has something. No, actually, just kidding. Uber's going to jack those prices up.
But if you haven't used them, it even says in here, you do get your $20 off your first time. Yeah. So download that app if you haven't yet. And then, have you ever used, what do they call it? What are the drink, or you drink, we drive? Have you ever used that?
No, because most of the places I don't want to park anyway, or I'm like pre-gaming for. So I'm going to take public transportation, or I'm not going to drive
both
there.
ways?
Yeah, pretty much.
See, and you are in Minneapolis now, so in St. Paul, you can't really do that. There's not a lot of... You don't just jump on some public transportation to get to the bar.
You can get a cab whenever you want.
Oh, cab, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, there's not that, like... Light rail isn't convenient to get to, like, anywhere on West 7th or Grand.
I don't take the light rail unless I'm...
Well, what are you saying you're taking public transportation then?
I'm taking the bus.
Okay.
I take the bus from, like, uptown to downtown.
Now, you're a former St. Paul girl. Is that more convenient in Minneapolis, or is it just as easy in St. Paul?
I don't know. I never had to take the bus in St. Paul. I grew up as, like, a child in St. Paul. Not as had to be on my own.
Well, and that's it. Thankfully, I have friends that have used the bus and stuff, because they had Deweys and whatnot. But I've never had to really use that system, and so therefore I drive wherever I go, and then usually end up leaving my car there and taking a lift home and needing to get a ride in the morning and all that. Which, to bring it home, the whole point is, pardon the pun there, but the whole point is that this place will come and they drive your car home for you. And I heard they're not crazy expensive either. So that's a nice little deal where you still can get to where you got to get and not blame driving home on, I had no other way to get my car home. Right. Like, bullshit, you have a ride.
Or pay a friend, man. This stuff starts like fairly early. Like Beer Dabbler, you can have someone easily drop you off and give them like 10 or 15 bucks and probably really appreciate it because it starts at like 3. So
yeah, it's like 4 to 7 or something.
Yeah.
And that's one of those. I have a buddy that every St. Patty's Day just throws it out there right away in the morning on Facebook, giving rides all day.
Yeah,
like, hit me up. And I think he doesn't, maybe he'll even charge $5. I don't know if he charges, but even if he's $5 a head, like, that's still pretty sweet that people can get home and not have to worry about, even trying to get a lift or any of that when it's so busy and everyone's trying to get out of St. Paul.
That's a good
But I think that's a smart move. And it'd be smart for a beer dabbler and all that stuff going on tomorrow in St. Paul. You might as well just, if you don't have anything going on, might as well just give people rides. It'd be a big, busy day for Lyft and Uber tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Probably. Speaking of Lyft.
I was trying to say, well, yeah, because Uber is about to die. So, well, should we? Do you want to take an early break, or should we just try to just without segue go straight into talking?
It's like probably one of our weirdest segues we've ever had.
So I think we just do it then. Screw it. Let's go straight into it.
I think so.
Now, okay, you saw this. This was from NPR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read this on. I don't know what it was. I don't know.
It's just really briefly. It's just a piece about. Well, apparently a young boy who had a book written about him because he met God, or not met God, but went to heaven. And had this whole story where he was in a coma and then came back and said he was in heaven. And
he was 6, I think, when he got a
6 years old. It's been 5 years since or something like that. This whole book, it was published and everything, and there's money coming in. And at least there's another kid in this same story they talk about, similar situations. But so apparently the kid, now that he's 11, has come out and said, well, actually, I read the Bible now, and I didn't go to heaven. And there's only one true word, and that is the Bible, which I thought was really interesting, too.
Oh, I just thought he was
reason
like,
he switched,
everyone lied.
No. The reason he switched is because he's, found religion, oddly enough.
What?
Yeah. So, anyway, but this brought up kind of more of the just question in your mind, right?
Okay, I missed that whole part.
You didn't read that part?
No, I mean, but
it's in there. I swear to God.
I thought that was kind of like, I don't know. That's weird.
Well,
okay.
But there's 2 kids, so they each have a different story. One of them, the dad wrote the book, and now he's taking all the money. Okay. It's not going to the kid, which is even worse.
This is great.
And then the other one is the one that I was
This is an easy way to get to hell, is by lying about writing a book about heaven. And especially surrounding your child.
Absolutely.
This do you not want to get to heaven?
First way to get to hell.
You better not believe in anything you're writing with to begin with. Because that's more terrifying.
Yeah,
if you believe in hell and then you start lying about a book about heaven, that would freak me out.
Well, why would you want to write this book if it weren't true?
If it were true?
No, if it weren't. I mean, it's a great book if it's true.
Because people eat that shit up.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what's just so disgusting and sad, is that somebody would just do that for profit, especially off their 6-year-old kid.
Well,
and especially having that experience too. That kid's gone through enough. Now you're gonna make a bullshit story and write a book about it.
I mean, it's like the parents that pretend their kids have cancer for insurance money type of shit.
Oh Jesus, that's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this obviously conjured up some thoughts in your mind, though. Where did this take you? Where were you? Do you need the article itself? Yeah.
It's too deep not for me to reread it. I'm sorry.
It's too deep.
It's too deep. It's titled "What If Heaven Is Not for Real?" And
it is a little bit ironic too that the kid's name was Malarkey. Little bit of irony.
A bunch of malarkey.
A little bit of irony there.
The book was called "The Boy Who Came Back from Heaven." More important, his book, along with others, such as "Heaven Is for Real," written by Todd Burpo, based on the story of his son Colton. Blah 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 blah. I'm sorry. I'm going through this right now, trying to figure out.
She's skim reading it live,
right,
on air for everyone. So you are too.
It's easy to see how Malarkey's case as an example of how religion can be used by unscrupulous to fool people. Of course, lots of things can be used by the unscrupulous to fool people. Thinking more broadly, however, what the story really highlights is how deeply we human beings fear the end of our lives, and lengths will go for solutions to that fear. And kind of the whole point is why we are not obsessed with what happened before we were born, this kind of void of space or time or energy, whatever you believe, before we were born. So why are we so obsessed? Thank you.
That was wonderful. That was a due applause. Well done, folks.
So why is it so scary for us to think that death is going to be any different? We're not going to know.
Did you ever look at it that way? Because that was the fascinating part of the article too to me, was that every single human being over the age of 8 has thought about life after death, or death, mm-hmm. or just what happens after I'm gone, right? Because mm-hmm. your grandma dies, your pet fish dies, something happens, and you just have to think about it at least.
Becomes part of life.
I have, maybe on a crazy acid trip or something, but I've never really sat and thought about where was I pre-birth. I never really went, because I do believe that my soul, it's a fact, energy doesn't die. But so I believe my soul is energy, so therefore it does go forever. Sure. But I never really take that backward. I just always figure, from the day I was born, it goes forward forever. But if it's eternal, that means it goes back all the way to the beginning of time too, right?
Sure.
So what the fuck does that mean?
I mean, Like, well, that's why a lot of people believe in reincarnation, right?
Yes, and that was the one thing that kind of pissed me off. That this is a woman, right? The author.
I have no idea.
I thought it was a female.
I thought it was a male.
Interesting that because I think I'm just totally basing that on the way she wrote, or the person wrote.
Okay.
But she said that none of us existed 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, none of us existed 150 years ago.
But technically, how do you know? Again, reincarnation. We could have existed.
Sure, but as how we know ourselves today, we didn't exist.
But and here's one thing where it was like a Deepak Chopra book or anything. Have you ever read anything by Deepak Chopra, or you're at least familiar with who he is? All right.
Yes.
He in one of his books talked about how where do you begin? Do you begin at conception? Do you begin at birth? Do you begin as sperm or egg, like in the individual parent, or are you always like? Basically, his point is that you never begin and you never end. There isn't, and I totally dig too, like the whole fact that I don't believe that time exists. I think that's something that we've created in our minds. So if everything's always happening, are you ever dead?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Just wait and see.
Well, I happen to bring a gun. So no, I mean, how else? And that's what's obviously that's why this question is so fun and fascinating. Is that I had this argument, or not argument. My cousin was having this huge argument on Facebook about atheism and about how he's a staunch atheist, and I just went, calling yourself an atheist is as ignorant as saying that you know what happens after death. Like,
sure.
You don't know. Now, I can't tell you there's a God. I don't know. But I can tell you that I know for a fact that you can't know. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, right.
It drives me nuts when people, and I know she wasn't, or he or she wasn't meaning it, because I think you took it the way that she meant it, but that we didn't exist 1,000 years ago. What do you mean? How do you know? Now, we say humans didn't exist millions of years ago. Like, I get that part, too. Yeah, right. And I think she meant completely literally. But again, to your point, if she means literally, then, well, none of us were around 120 years ago. So
right.
The 1,000 thing was an exaggeration unnecessarily to me. But
yeah, I was kind of like, well, yeah. Like, why would you say 1,000?
So do you have a theory? So, like, this is I think pub talk, and this is the stuff that I used to always talk about in the bar, and everyone would say, don't talk about politics or religion, and I, of course, loved it. But where do you stand? I mean, have we even talked? Do you believe in God? Have we ever even gone there?
Yeah, I believe in God.
Are you a Christian?
No, I'm not a Christian.
Okay, so are you? And I hate how. Okay, here's how I was going to say that. Are you spiritual? Like, sure. That's what I was going to say, and I don't even. Sure. I'm sound like I'm mocking it, but I consider myself that way, so I don't know why I say it that way.
I know,
but you know what I mean? Like, most people take that as like it's like a cop out.
Yeah. I think most people do, even though that's funny because most people are like, well, organized religion and God is the only way and Jesus is the only way. Well, if you believe in Jesus, you're a Christian. Sorry. But, I mean, like, just on basic levels where I stand, do I think Jesus was a real guy? Yeah. Do I think you have to believe in him to go to heaven? No. Do I believe that he's the one and only true Savior of God? No. Do I believe in God? Yes. Therefore, I think I'm spiritual in some way. I'm, like, hoping now I don't really know if I believe in hell, to be honest.
Okay. Let me back up real quick because I want to see what you think about this.
Or heaven,
I think you would say it this way, and it sounds funny, but this is the way I put it to some people, and I think they get it. I believe in God, but I don't believe in Jesus' dad. You know what I mean? Like, there is something that created the universe, I believe.
Yeah.
And it may even have interactions in your daily life. It might. I don't know.
But I don't think it does, but
right, and I would completely respect that belief. There's a definite argument to be made there, but to me, that you would have a God that would create one human being that would come here and he would not give any information about himself for 30 years, first of all, and then live this crazy life, be killed on a stake, and that's on a cross. I mean, he was hung on a freaking stake. It just happened to have another stick on it. God, there's a lot of Christians right now that are going, wow, that's blasphemy. I don't give a shit. But
they've already turned us off.
That's true. If you're a hardcore Christian, if you're a hardcore Christian, you probably don't listen to the show. But I have a hard time taking it to a thing where, like, I think that every holy book. I don't want to go there.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know. I was going to take it really far. Like, rein it in. I know. I just think that we as human beings really like to consider ourselves very important and the center of the universe, as literally they did for thousands of years or millions, whatever. And then we figured out that we're actually just a speck of dust in the middle of the universe. And I just think that we explain our own existence by making ourselves more important than we are.
Sure.
And lifting ourselves up to these things that we're not.
Well, we're trying to find a meaning, right? I mean, that's really why we're here for, is for people to find meaning. And I think that's what freaks people out. And the author says this about dying, is that you are a being, right? Like you live your life for a purpose. You live your life to make this world better, or whatever you're here for. And the idea that you've done all of this and all of a sudden it's gone, all this kind of effort, it is terrifying, right? Like that's what scares me the most. It's not maybe necessarily what happens. I mean, I'd prefer to like die and like be chilling with all my favorite people, right? Like that's why, like honestly, that's what I kind of hope happens. I'm like, okay,
the fairy tale we've been taught would be awesome.
Right, like, I mean, you know, I hope my best friends are all up there. Like, I hope it's kind of just a really awesome, sweet place after life on Earth. But that is the most terrifying thing, is that you're going to be forgotten, and that you've been kind of pointless. Like, we want to just find meaning in life, and I think that's why death is scary. So, and some people, I've met friends who are completely okay with dying. I am not one of them.
That was kind of what you asked too in the prep for this.
Does it really,
where do you stand
scare
there?
You?
Okay. Now I want you to answer first, because you had a stronger reaction to it in the first place.
Right. I mean, I go kind of in this roller coaster of not very fearful and more calm about it, and then I go into this like very time conscious state where all I think about is like, oh my god, like time is moving so fast, and before I know it, I'm gonna open my eyes one day and I'm gonna be like on my deathbed, right? And I'm just gonna be like saying goodbye to the world, and it's gonna happen fucking tomorrow because time is going by so fast. And I get into this like very terrified state where then I kind of like, oh my, I have to live my life is like in full, right? And I get totally freaked out. And then I kind of slow back down again. So
does that have a good effect on you at all, though? To kind of make you embrace the day-to-day, too?
Yeah, it makes me embrace the day-to-day, but then I have this need to, like, experience everything. And then I have this need to also just let it all just move slowly.
You carry a bucket list
every
day.
I kind of do. I have, like, all these things I want to accomplish, which, like, so when I start thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I love what I do. I love that I'm a writer. I love that I'm, you know, my job. I love my friends. And then I'm like, man, I have one fucking life. And this is what I'm doing? Like, is this really what I want to be doing? Not that I don't feel fulfilled and not that I don't feel accomplished, but, like, is this really what I want to be doing, and is this how I want to leave the world and be remembered? Like, that freaks me out.
See, and I think I'm actually maybe even envious of you, because I fear old age and being alone way more than I fear death.
You fear being alone?
Well, I'm not married. I'm single right now, and I'll always have family and stuff around me and friends. But I'm worried that I could end up being the old guy that people are like,
Jason,
what's
that's
he up
not going
to?
to happen to you. This is turning into a therapy session, but I really don't think
I do
that's
need a
going to
couch.
happen to you.
I do. We should do one show where I'm just on a couch and you're
and you can't see me and you're just laying back.
Yes.
But I think that's an important quality to have. I think people who fear being alone have more to give to someone else. And I know people that just don't really give a shit and are just kind of living life like whatever, like all fair, you know. And
bet they have a boyfriend or girlfriend too.
No, I'm talking about people I know that
people?
don't.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess. It's just like that's one of the things that I struggle with, you know, actually in dating too. It's like, man, like, okay, I'm really going to make the effort because this is like the one life. And if it isn't right, then I'm just going to end it, right? And if it feels right, then I'm going to keep working really hard at it. And some people don't have that same drive. Like, don't waste your time, essentially.
Do you feel
Tell people you love them.
Jesus. Everybody give everybody a hug, all right? Do you think that children extends you? Like, is it a way to overcome this a little bit? And do you think that maybe a lot of people look at it that way too? Maybe not even you personally, but do you think that could?
Sure. I mean,
there's an evolutionary, like, we literally have it in our DNA to have kids. Like, I mean, that's why you get horny, for Christ's sake. Like,
right.
It's built into you to want to have kids. Not everybody, by the way, but in general. But I wonder if that's another, like, at least, and that's another one of my fears too. Like, because I've always wanted kids, and I go, Like, I don't feel like anybody's going to be hurt by the fact if I don't have kids. But I wonder, like, was I supposed to leave something that, like, who knows? Maybe my kid was supposed to do something that way more extraordinary than anything I've ever done.
Sure.
And if I don't have that kid, like, did I somehow, cut the world short? But how conceited is that?
Right, like self-fulfilling prophecy there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't think about things that aren't going to happen. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right, but I contemplate all of it. I contemplate the things that can't happen or won't happen, and the things that possibly could happen too. And fuck, that'll make you depressed.
Mine's more like accomplishment based. Like, am I going to do something in this world that makes me feel okay to leave it? Like, am I proud of what I did to make this place better? Did I improve something?
You died today.
Yeah.
God forbid. But you died today. What are you, like, if you're still conscious, what are you going, fuck that, I didn't get to do that?
I think I just want to, I think I want to help more people and change something big than what I've had a chance to do yet. So.
Yes, I would love another one. Half hour left in the show.
He's drinking scotch, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. He's not.
Doubles on the rocks. No.
I just want to make a change in the world.
I want everything to be better, and everyone to just have sex and kids and stuff.
Like death, man.
No, I don't know. I'm death doesn't scare me because I don't believe that it's over at death. I don't. I think that something happens. Do
you believe you could go to, like, a bad place?
Fuck yes.
Okay.
And that scares me more than like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm totally okay with dying and that's it. Like, because who gives a shit? You don't know that you're missing out on anything, right?
Right.
But it would be way worse to go to hell and be going, God, all I had to do was believe in Jesus.
I know, right?
And be a little bit better of a person. Maybe have a little less, promiscuous sex or something. I don't know. Like, what did I do that was so bad? I would be sitting there going, like, seriously? Like, there are people that did some bad shit. What did I do? Like, what did I do? But I get, by the Bible standards, I'm a sinner and I'd be going to hell. So because I haven't repented it anyway.
That's hilarious. It's not hilarious because I totally have the same thought. Like, oh, really? Really?
You don't believe in heaven, though, do you? Well, you kind of do, right? Like you said, you want to meet your friends and stuff afterwards.
I do.
Do you really, like, what do you even... And I know we're getting really... As I keep hearing meta lately. But, like... I don't... Okay, have you seen What Dreams May Come?
Yeah.
That's what I picture. That's how I picture heaven.
Sure.
It's all in your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
everyone has their own personal idea of it.
Yes. And that can be hell, too.
Sure.
Like, it's really, literally, it's how you saw yourself. So, if you saw yourself as a really good person that was giving and was about others and not just selfish and an asshole, then you're probably going to go to a pretty good place. Like, everything around you is going to probably meet your needs and blah, 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 right? But if you're a prick, you're going to know you were a prick, and you're going to, bury yourself in that dark house full of puddles and all that shit like she does in the movie. And that movie, that movie messed me up, too, because that is exactly how I look at life and death.
A very intense movie. That was like
so underrated, too.
And it's a little underrated.
Do you have any idea what that got in Rotten Tomatoes?
I have no idea.
I'm going to guess it's in the 70s, because it was so underrated. But to me, that's a 90 minimum. That's a great movie.
Yeah, that affected me for sure. That was like a movie that I definitely still think about today.
Well, I own it, and I don't buy DVDs.
Like, I don't know if I could buy it. Like, I don't know if how often do I need to watch that movie? Like, I don't need to be re-affected by it. Like,
it is not an uplifting movie. That's
no,
for sure.
It is not uplifting.
But to me, it's so. You know what? Actually, what I should do is watch that movie whenever I'm having like a really good day. Like just to even it out a little. just don't ever because you don't want to get too low. You don't want to get too high. That would bring you right back to even keel, I think, if you're ever just, getting a little too into yourself or a little too proud of yourself.
I did read one of those heaven books, though, I will say. Not one of the ones with the little kids.
What do you mean? Which heaven books?
I like one of the proof, like it's called Proof of Heaven. Like
I
read, there's kind of this whole, there's a lot of books out there that people like near-death experiences and things like that.
Sorry, I thought you're still on the.
No, I mean like other books where people have said they've gone to heaven or their experiences with death or whatever, and I found it fascinating. The reason why I picked this one up, not only because I was forced to, because it was a book club book, but it's written by a Harvard neuroscientist, who was an atheist. and didn't believe in anything. He just was like straight science, like nothing happened, no big deal. He got an insane form of an infection around his brain, like I don't know, what's the one that gets it like in your blood and you like pretty much die. Like you can get it in like college dorms.
Oh, geez. I think I know what you're talking about now, actually, but I can't think of what it's called.
It's a bacterial infection.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, he got that, and it was like one of the rarest forms of it, and like no one his age gets it. No one of his health gets it. No one in America gets it. It's like like a disease from India or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So God got him. No.
I mean, they really have no idea how he contracted this disease. There's like no possible explanation for it. It's an infection around the lining of your brain, and it goes deep within the upper levels of your cortex. Mm-hmm. So you essentially go into a coma and you lose everything is dead. And even if you were able to come out of the coma, you're like a vegetable. And he fucking snapped out of it. And he was in heaven for like a week when he was in this coma. And he explains the whole thing, and then he goes and he does a whole case study on his own records. And this guy's a Harvard neuroscientist.
Yeah. He's not fucking around.
And it's fascinating. Like, wow. It's fascinating to see how his view completely changed. He was like, he always had explanations, like, you're losing oxygen, so you're seeing kind of that tunnel. People are having hallucinations.
I was going to say, did he touch on the DMT thing at all?
He touched on all of it, and he was like, there's no possible way that I could have any of this stuff. And he met people there, like past family members who he'd never met, never seen pictures of, who were talking to him. It's so fascinating.
Because I wanted to bring that, because we've talked about the DMT trip as a possible thing that happens when you die too, right? Because you do meet other beings when that happens
and
too.
There's a whole chapter on it, and like he met this girl in heaven, and she was kind of showing him around, and he had there's all these different places, and he didn't know who she was. She was there the whole time with him. They kind of like communicated telepathically, because it's just completely like time doesn't exist. When after you die, he says things like you don't really have any fear anymore. It's just like total comfort and happiness, which is really cool thought to me.
Sounds so damn comforting,
right? Sounds great. And then he was adopted, and he met his birth parents after this had happened, way later in life. And he had lost a sister of his had passed away. She was young, and there was a picture of her in the house after he met his birth parents, and it was her. And he was like, "That's my sister. Like she's like we're hanging out together." It's so fascinating. Sorry, I like kind of gave away a lot, but it's his whole explanation of what heaven is like, and then also the scientific aspect of it from the mind of a really nerdy like neuroscientist who is an atheist. And he doesn't get Jesus-y on you. He doesn't get weird and like gaudy, but he definitely is
gaudy.
He's definitely no longer an
doesn't
atheist.
Get Italian mobster on your ass.
Doesn't
get gaudy on you.
Gaudy. Or the architect, whatever. But
so he doesn't flip from atheist to like we all must believe in God guy. He just said now I believe there's something after death.
Yeah, he believes in God now. I mean, he believes in a higher being, but it's not like religion based. It's very spiritual based. It's very like all knowing, all energy. You become kind of one with God. That's kind of universal energy, and you die.
All right, so, just because we're at this level, I love going to these places, so I got to ask you what you think of this little theory. I had this theory years and years and years ago. I was probably 20, 25 years old. Tops.
Did you come up with it? Or are we talking?
This is just my theory. Okay. You can picture the things inside of your body, your cells, and your immune system. There's things inside of your body that operate on their own, like even your lungs and stuff. Your brain, it's your blood vessels, your heart. They're operating without your own thought, right? And there's little individual cells that are doing their own individual things with their own individual commands and blah 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 blah. And you take that like to the level of where we are in a city, like we are all just kind of cogs in a machine as well too. And I've always thought it would be fascinating if we actually. And I think for some reason I've thought of like how an insect would look at the world too. This is how I got to this. Was that what if we are actually just inside of another organism and that's God? Boom, that's it. No,
my God.
But do you know what I mean?
Did you get this after watching Men in Black?
No, but those movies are deep for comedies. But no,
I love Men in Black.
I do too, actually. The first one is amazing, at least. Second one's good too.
What's the line? Something about being on Orion's belt. Like, the universe is at Orion's belt. That he has to like go find the cat, and the cat has the collar with the thing.
And he's Orion.
And the cat whatever.
is. Yeah. I don't remember what line are you looking for though.
That's it. That's the line. It's like, but I can't remember what the thing is on his neck. It's like the universe.
It's the entire universe in a little ball. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes. No. When I get really spiritual and deep, I go to Will Smith and actually I can't think of the director of that movie right now, but
I don't know.
But I've always thought like all I'm saying by that little theory that I came up with years and years ago was just that's as fucking plausible as just about anything.
Sure.
And it's at least as plausible as anything in those holy books that I was bashing earlier.
Anything is plausible in this universe. Like, let's be real, and we're never going to comprehend it, and that's the most fascinating part about it.
Okay, hold on though. In that book though, does he feel like so the lack of fear and that kind of calmness to me would come from knowledge, because I think that the reason we're always so scared is because we don't know. We're in doubt always. Know. So did he say that he was like not even necessarily like here's a tablet with information, but like did he feel like he knew things that he hadn't previously known and like
you just know everything.
Yeah, that's
but it's not like a knowledge like 1 + 1 is 2. It's just like an all-knowing, all-seeing feeling. Like you just become with everything else, and there's nothing to know and there's nothing to not know anymore.
Now I know my mom's probably listening, and she well, it's not like she doesn't know that I didn't do drugs when I was a teenager, but I will never ever forget doing a head full of acid one night, walking around St. Paul, and it all started with Star Wars posters. Actually, really weird, but the theme of the night became we were questioning everything. Questioning existence, life, meaning of life, everything, right?
Sounds like the perfect acid trip.
Oh, God. Walking around, St. Paul at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were sitting on an overpass over 35E. I was literally laying on an overpass over 35E.
Okay.
Just tripping balls. And it finally hit me that you get all of the answers the second you stop asking the questions. Like, if you have the question in your head, there is an answer to look for. But the second you stop having it, you have you have everything. And that's what death is. That was what we came to. And I damn near jumped off the bridge because I was like, wow, I might as well. You
know what they said on Freakonomics today? Do you ever listen to Freakonomics?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
There was a lot of episode about tripping acid on the interviewer.
On Freakonomics, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I love that show. The interviewer just goes, the guy being interviewed, he just goes, there is nothing more boring than hearing about someone else's acid trip.
That is true. That is true. Unless it's when the only thing that would be interesting about another person's acid trip is if it's someone else telling that person the story. If it's the actual individual telling the story, because nobody can compare to their experience. But it's whenever somebody else can go, remember when so-and-so did that shit. Sure. That is usually entertaining.
Well, they can recount, like, it's the physical manifestations of an acid trip that are hilarious and interesting, rather than, like, what went on in someone's head, because, like, let's be real.
Right.
It's pretty much all the same shit.
Well, and it's indescribable unless you've actually done it.
Sure.
But okay, so then we'll take a break. But so this is just fun. There was the one time, just because this is that situation, where all of us out at a state park, and my buddy comes walking out. Haven't seen him for 15, 20 minutes. We're kind of like worried about him. Like, where the fuck is he? And he just comes back with the biggest shit grin on his face ever. Like, just looks like the happiest person ever. Like, where have you been? What have you been up to? And he just points at a cloud. He goes, hey, see that cloud? Like, yeah, what about it? He goes, it just ate me. And he was so happy about it. Like, nothing had happened to him in his life that was better. And that was funny. Like, God. That's funny. Now, obviously, what the hell was actually going through his head, nobody wants to know. That would be the less interesting part of the story. But that part, I will never forget, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Well, I don't know what the segue is here, but we're just going to take a little quick break and come right back and get back into it on the Minnesota Pubcast live. Well, live right now if you're listening here at O'Gara's.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
She may contain the urge to run away, but hold her down with soggy clothes and breeze blows. Citrusine, your fever, scream me again. Never kisses, or do you ever send a full stop? Do you know?
Are you an Alt J fan?
I love Alt J.
All right, I had a feeling you'd dig this one.
That was a really good segue from acid and drugs and
isn't
life.
that fitting?
They're they can be very existential and weird ways with their sounds.
Have you seen this video, Breeze Blocks?
Yes, I have.
Is it one of the most disturbing things you've ever seen?
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
It's fucked up.
It's pretty dark.
I consider it it's well done art. It's a really cool music video. It's dark, disturbing, scary, fucking gross actually, but really cool.
It is cool. They're a cool band. I saw them in October.
Where'd you see them?
The Myth actually. On
on
Halloween.
You made it out to the Myth for a show, huh?
We took a party bus from Minneapolis for Halloween.
Was it bulletproof? I'm kidding.
Oh God, but that place is. It was a bunch of white hipsters taking over the Myth that night.
Oh, so it was a weird night at the Myth.
Tripping on Molly, yeah, for sure.
What the hell?
It was fun. It was fun. I was too far away. I want to go see them at First Ave because now, ever since I've been go to most shows at First Avenue, everything else is ruined for me.
Isn't that the truth?
Unless if I'm at a really awesome outdoor, Target Field was fun for Paul McCartney, and going to an outdoor music festival is always fun because just, the whole experience.
The XL is good too, but it's still nothing like that. The intimacy is gone.
If you want to go see a big person like Justin Timberlake or whoever, the XL is great for it. It has good sound quality, but any other small, medium-sized venue will never compare to First Ave, and it's so disappointing.
Did I happen to tell you that I was offered free tickets to Justin Timberlake and didn't go?
Why?
Because I'm a moron.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's so funny too. Working at Burger Mo's, but I'm cut, but I'm still there. And these two ladies come walking in. They're 55, 60. They're 60, 65. Okay.
Okay, whatever.
They're pushing 70.
Okay,
right? These are older
Jason,
gals. All right.
We get it.
And they're like, does anybody want to go to the concert? We couldn't take it. It was too loud.
Really?
And
how do you can't get re-entry?
That's what I thought. My buddies got in. Because they
Seriously?
called, and they're like, we have tickets. The people have been in, but we're coming. And they said, yeah.
loud?
They're like, it's too loud, and we're going to leave.
Oh, girlfriends,
And
you gotta
how
bring some
cute is that?
headphones.
But and then I saw the Snapchats from the show from my two buddies that went, and their seats were fucking amazing, and yeah, it would look like a cool show.
It's cool.
And of course, and I just recently actually found respect for Justin Timberlake. I hate boy bands, and so I never really thought he was much of an artist until the last couple of years, and that was a show that I truly regret missing, even at the X.
You'll see him again. He's got many years on him.
That's true. But it would to see him at First Ave, somebody like that at First Ave would be fucking cool.
But why?
He wouldn't be able to do his show, but I think in First Ave he'd be forced to do the music instead of the show part more.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Which I think he's talented at. He can do.
Yeah, but I don't know. But he's Justin Timberlake. I'd rather see him dance, and I'd rather
you want to
all
see the
of his
spectacle.
Stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
he's to the point of spectacle. I know he's a good singer. I don't want to hear a fucking acoustic set.
See, and I don't ever go to a concert for spectacle.
Well, but why would you go to
Roger Waters puts on quite a spectacle.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. Why would you go to the Excel? Then I mean, everyone at the Excel probably puts on a pretty big spectacle.
No, but I saw Paul McCartney there, and I don't think spectacle's the word. There's not a whole lot of graphics and fireworks and I suppose there was probably some sparks going there during that.
The best fireworks show I've ever seen. But it was at a concert at the end
outdoors.
Of Paul McCartney's.
Yeah, that would have been very different.
I've seen him. No, you're right. I've seen him outdoors 3 times now.
You've never seen him inside?
No, I've never seen him inside.
I'm jealous of you because it would be cooler to see him outside. But.
I've seen him outside 3 times. Yeah.
3 times.
3 times.
Where else did you see him?
I saw him at the Washington Football Stadium, as in Washington D.C.
Okay.
As in, I'm not using that term anymore.
The R words. Yep.
And then, which was super fun, and that was the first time.
So that was at FedEx, the new stadium?
No.
How long ago was this?
2010.
Yeah, that would have been FedEx, I think.
I don't know. The stadium wasn't that great, but
it's relatively
sure.
Wait a minute, you would have known if it was pretty new. I think.
I don't know.
Maybe you weren't the old one. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway. That was great. That was the first time, so I was crying the whole way through. And then I saw him at Outside Lands in San Francisco.
Okay.
Which was super fascinating because, on the other side of the park there was Pretty Lights playing. Mm-hmm. I just felt bad for Pretty Lights because I was like, you probably got the 16-year-olds going to Pretty Lights who don't care.
The teeny boppers.
But I mean, I waited for hours for him. I sat through the National. Just kidding. National was great. They opened.
I'm sorry, but that's the least uplifting music in the world.
Yeah, it was it went from, I sat through about 4 concerts to get really close, and it was Band of Horses, and it was the National, and then you have to wait another hour and a half before Paul comes on. But I looked backwards.
But you're sitting there going, like, I feel like I just went through a breakup. Like, 'cause the depression in the room.
No, they were good. They were really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
they were
I'm sure
really good.
live music is always different than just listening to
they had
on
a
the
good
radio,
energy, and their music's a little chill, but whatever. And then I saw them at Target Field this last summer.
Is that a great... Where did you sit at Target Field?
On the field.
Okay, and is it in center field? Is that where the stage is?
Yeah, it's
or is it in left?
It's in right.
Oh, it's over toward right field.
It's over. If you're looking out from home plate, it's to the right.
Okay, so kind of toward where that main entrance is.
Right when you walk in the main entrance.
It would be below you.
But a little to the right.
Oh my God! So it's center field, more or less, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there people in the stands too?
The whole thing is full.
Well, but not behind it, right?
No, but the whole thing is full. The rest of the whole thing is full.
So there's a lot of shitty seats, I would think.
At Target Field?
I mean,
why?
It's
way back in the outfield.
The seats are meant for looking at home plate, though. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to picture.
But home plate, you're already looking out. Like if someone were to hit a home run, you'd be no matter where you're sitting, except if you're up in that far blood. What are they called? Nosebleeds. Like that's the only shitty part. Like no matter what, you're looking out at him.
Okay, I'm picturing like being out in right or being out in left, and your angle is so bad. But I mean, when I saw him at the XL, we were all the way over on the side too. Even like so, we were still. I'm just trying to. I've never been to a stadium other than a football stadium. I've never been to a show at a baseball stadium. I can't picture how that would be, and God. So how far away from you? You're on the floor. Well, technically, the floor seats. How far away were you?
I don't know. I'll pull up a photo for you.
Yeah, I'm having trouble picturing.
I was
all
far
of this,
away
actually.
at the Washington Stadium. I was super fucking close in San Francisco, and I was a solid amount away at Target Field. I mean, I was not far, but I
was on the 50-yard line at Giant Stadium for Dave Matthews back in the day, and that was a perfect spot to be. So I don't know. Being behind the plate, third deck, that doesn't sound like a great place to be.
Behind the plate, third deck. Okay,
all right. Now, so
he's looking at photos right now.
And so I know where that Twins logo is. That is center field right there. So you're right. It's like in right center.
Yeah, right center.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I got it right.
No, and where you are, that would be
fantastic.
That's as good as anything right
there.
there.
And the screens. I mean, look at the screens are huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see.
Well, and that's
everything.
where yes, you can. It's totally fine where you would be in the nosebleeds behind the plate, but to me. Why be there then? What are you getting out of being in the room if all you're watching is video?
I don't think those are open. I don't think those are open.
So it's only the lower deck.
But
the bowl.
The whole field is filled with people. So you get all those people that you would miss behind all down on the field. And then the show is completely sold out.
How long did he go?
He goes
old.
for
How is he doing
3.5
still?
hours.
That's
and
insane.
He plays 40 Beatles songs. And it's fucking insane.
The way you said it, you sound like you're a little mad for a second. I'm like, I don't think a lot of people go there going, God, can I get some more solo Paul? I'd really just love to hear more solo.
Insane. I love that he does that because he just caters to what people want to hear and he enjoys it.
And a lot of guys don't want to play their hits because they get sick of it.
Because they're
I completely don't blame him for that. Yeah.
He plays like one or two of his new songs and they're like, and he does it so you kind of enjoy it. You can like get a beer, like it's fine. Then he's like, all right, moving on.
Did he do yesterday?
Yes.
Did he do it with the guitar from the Sullivan Show?
Yes, he does. He pulls it out, and then he does like something on the ukulele. Okay, I could talk about Paul forever.
I could talk about him all night.
I don't care. Because
but he's not coming anytime soon, and so there's basically no reason to be talking about this right now. Okay, do you want to? I want to do the latest on Allison Rosen.
I want to hear about your dating.
Okay. This is more fun. It is more fun.
I do feel we could talk about your love of Allison Rosen, but I think people need to hear about your real love life.
I am in love with Allison Rosen.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, so I mentioned to you, or the topic I put down was that there's nobody has any time to date, and I'm trying to figure out what this means to me, but. What I keep finding is Tinder, wherever it is, even if you meet a girl out, it's hey, yeah, you're cool. I like you. Let's go get a beer. Let's do whatever. And then it's like, well, when are you free? And it's like, well, I have one window this week, and it's on Thursday between 5 and 6:30. Otherwise, I'm free in March. Like, and a little exaggeration there, but that's basically how it goes. Like, for instance, I had this one recently, and I'll show you how annoying this one was. It was like, hey, let's go out sometime. Cool. Are you free this weekend? Nah, Friday and Saturday are rough for me. It's just like, well,
don't ever go on a Friday first date. It's
no.
super annoying.
But she's like, well, what about tonight? I'm like, oh, well, tonight I have to work. And then it became, well, otherwise it's like 2 weeks from now I'm free again. And and this isn't, I mean, my buddy and I, Tim, who you've met, we can literally go back and forth, like showing each other our phones, where it's like, want to go? Yeah, I'd like to go out. Blah blah blah. 2.5 weeks. Like it's never, and it's not like.
Why don't you just give them a list of dates that you're free?
Well, you nailed
and then
a
say,
button
why
there.
don't you just pick?
Because I work at a fucking bar where we learn our schedule like Sunday night, and it's for that week. So I literally can't plan my life. So, and that's obviously I don't blame that on the gals, but it's just, and I don't like. I'm super busy too. Like I have these. I work. I'm doing prep for this show. I'm constantly, I have friends and stuff too that I'm going out with a friend for a birthday tomorrow. Like tomorrow's out already. I guess where it's taken me is, first of all, fuck all of you who just found somebody at 21, 22. You nailed it. But I really wonder, at like, what point do you just say, okay, I'm trying to put this into words, but the way I really think is that if you really, really like someone, which you can't from meeting them on Tinder, you'll make time. Like you'll go, look, I am super busy this week. I've got a lot going on, but why don't we at least go get 2 drinks, Thursday night. But when it's somebody you haven't met, and that's where we are these days, where it's all internet dating, it's so hard to really actually put them above anything.
Sure. You have no expectations for them.
Right. So they become the fucking last thing on your schedule that you're worried about, and then it becomes very hard to fit them in. Now, we could all be missing out on really good opportunities where we really might like each other, but it's literally just because we don't think it's important enough to put it above something else. And I guess what I'm wondering is that where internet dating is taking us, to where it's so impersonal that we don't even have time for it, but yet we're all doing it? Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused.
You're so confused. You sound exasperated.
Oh, when it comes to dating, I am.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, my problem as a younger guy was I couldn't get dates. Or I was never that really like the super confident to talk to a gal. Now I can get dates, no problem. Like that's fine. And then they suck.
Okay, well, too bad.
Or the chicks
Move on.
Are too busy. I know, but I'm almost envying I'm longing for the days of where I couldn't get a date. How sad is that?
No, you're not. How many people do you talk to at once? And for how long do you talk to them?
What do you like? If I do go on a date with,
well, I think in order to kind of like get to know if someone's actually worth your time, you have to talk to them for a little bit online. Like you have to put in some time to have conversation for a week or two, and if it's if their sense of humor is the same, or if they're not boring you, then it's like all right, let's like you can't just see someone's fucking photos and be like, all right, you want to get a drink?
Well, but I am so
your role.
I hate the texting communication of someone I don't know so much that I'm just like, let's just meet so we can, because then we'll know. Like, we can text back and forth and kind of get along, and it might sound great, and then you meet, it doesn't work anyway, so what's the fucking point? Like, to me, let's just go get a beer, and we're going to know within 5 minutes whether or not this is worth it or not. So I have very little patience, I guess, for the, like most men in all cases, for the foreplay. Like, I just want to get to it. And I'm not even talking about sex in this case. I'm just saying, like, why do we have to do internet foreplay? Like, why do we have to have Tinder foreplay? That's ridiculous.
Because you have to put in the time to meet someone. But this doesn't make any sense. You're not making any sense. Like, you just have to put in the time. Like, if you want to meet someone, you just put in the time. Like, you just keep trying. Like, if they
keep telling you, even when I put in the time, they don't have time.
Okay, but oh my God.
Try dating somebody over 30. It sucks.
I do date people over 30.
Well, guys are probably a little more flexible too. What do you think of that? Is that true? Would a guy?
No.
Do you use Tinder right now? Or have you used Tinder for dates? You can plead the fifth.
I'm pleading the fifth.
But I wonder if this does go both ways.
Yeah.
Like if you go on a date with a guy and it was kind of cool, and then you're like, oh, when can we hang out next? Does he go like, well, I've got meetings all week, and then I've got I'm going out of town next weekend, and but next Friday I might be available. Like, do you get a lot of that, or are the guys more like, yeah, let's hang out? I can be flexible. I feel like the women are less flexible.
And that doesn't really happen to me all that much because I don't date on Tinder. I really don't date on Tinder. I've been on a date from Tinder in forever. But anyway, I think that's an excuse for not wanting to see someone. I think if you were going on a first date and you want to see them again, at least in my experience, is we will make an effort within the next week to see each other. So you just kind of have to get.
So you get once a week.
There's like an average of like you're supposed to go with like 8 or 9 people before you find someone you want to date. Like it's something super high like that.
Wow, that is high to me.
It is. It's a lot. Like we have to look it up. There's a statistic out there that it's like there's an insanely high number of people on average that you go on dates with from online dating before you find someone you really want to.
You know what? Hey, I don't know if any of the other topics did, but that one definitely gave me hope.
I
like that. I like that. At least I'll just keep trying, and maybe one of these chicks will actually be worth all the bullshit.
Maybe you'll be worth all the bullshit to another chick.
Believe me, I know I'm a lot of bullshit to deal with. All right, well, hey, next week, you and it's going to be our first show from the new Digs.
Yeah, I hope it sounds real cool. What if our voices just sound completely different?
I think we should fuck with the listeners and completely tweak our voices and mess with the effects on the board so that they do think, oh, wow, this studio sucks.
We're in our new studio space.
All right, well, this is, we're signing off from McGarris, Molly Burke, Jason McGovern, Minnesota Pubcast. We will see you from our studios, the Alive and Social Studios, next Wednesday. Have a good one.